All right, we've got a really good guest here who's got a variety of talents. But you know how they do when they do these books? They always have like the sub thing.
Yeah.
So Chris Jericho, the book is called Undisputed. You know him as the wrestling champ, singer, and author. But here's the best part. Chris Jericho, Undisputed, How to Become World Champ in 1,372 Easy Steps.
Oh, only that.
Now, can you skip a step or not?
Well, actually, there's a reason behind that. That's the amount of matches that I had when I became the champion. So it's not just a catchy name. It actually has a meaning behind it as well. I'm so OCD that I kept a list of every match that I ever had just for this purpose.
But you know what? We've talked to a lot of people who've spent time in a variety of different rings. You don't seem none the worse for wear.
You look pretty good.
Yeah, I think because I'm from Canada, we talked about Flin Flon.
I
Flin
know.
Tabity Floniton.
It doesn't get enough airtime.
The only people that know what Flin Flon is in Los Angeles right now. But yeah, I think, growing up in Canada, I don't know, it was just a little bit more robust. It's so cold up there. I don't know really why. Maybe I'm kind of like preserved. I'm like one of those prehistoric men that's preserved.
And then one other thing, George Foreman was here once. And he's so jovial and so nice. Yeah. I'm like, I don't get it. You don't have the rage. And he's like, oh, you don't think I have the rage? Well, look.
Yeah,
and I literally almost jumped out of my seat. Can you turn it on like that?
Well, I mean, to me, wrestling is show business. It always has been from the moment I started when I was 19. So you play a character. So it's like anything else. If you're acting or whatever, you got to get into the groove. And as soon as you come out through the curtain, you got to become somebody else. So that's when you get into it. I get people all the time going, hey, say this or say that. It's like, you can't say it with conviction if it's a catchphrase that you use when you're performing because you're not in the mood. You need to get into it, and it's like method acting.
So just for these big dudes out there who think I've got it what it takes, you don't necessarily have what it takes just because you're big. You have to have that extra.
Absolutely, it's all show business. Because when I started, I was a smaller guy, and everybody was like 6'8", 300 pounds, and this, that, and the other thing. To me, it was like, well, how can I be the biggest presence on the show? I'll have the biggest charisma, the best personality, the best character. And that's how I was able to kind of go through the ranks. It wasn't about size or the moves. It was about connecting with the audience.
But you detail, and you're very candid about it, how initially Vince McMahon, who's sort of the impresario of all this, is like, you're no good at all.
Well, yeah, it took me 9 years to achieve this dream that I had of working for Vince. And then once I got there, the dream was like a nightmare because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and I wasn't prepared for it. So because I had this experience, I kind of had to reinvent myself and hit the ground running because 6 weeks after I got to the WWE, my boss was telling me that you're green as grass and you're terrible and you're not worth the contract that the paper that your contract is printed on, all that sort of thing. So it did kind of hit me out of left field, but you just have to, regroup and move on as a professional. So it was a long, hard road, but it made for a great book.
What kept you from packing up and heading back to Flin Flon? Because a lot of people are there right now. They're like, might as well just give up. What kept you going?
I had this dream. And like I said, when I started, people laughed and snickered, you want to be a wrestler, you want to be in a rock and roll band, hee hee hee. And I just never bothered with that. It's like if I wanted to do something and make this happen, within, I knew that I could do it. So even when I got to the WWE and I was told that I wasn't good and all this, I knew that I was. I just had to figure out, okay, once again, back to the drawing board. I need to recreate this character or do this or do that. Because I believed in myself. And it sounds a little bit kind of sappy, play sappy music now, but if you believe in what you're doing, then nobody can tell you that you can't do it. Exactly. So that kind of really drove me.
Here's your chance to meet Chris, and you're going to want to do it. ESPN Zone tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. The book is the LA Live, of course, in downtown LA. The book is called How to Become the World Champion in 132 Easy Steps. Undisputed, like anybody would cross you. But Chris, you seem so nice. It's hard to believe you're such a tough customer.
Yeah. Well, when Anthony Hopkins walks down the street, he's not really eating a liver with a frying pan, right? He's playing a part. So that's what it is. When I'm on this show, I'm myself, and then when it comes time to do business with the WWE, you become somebody else.
There you go. Nice to see you.
All right, nice to see you.
Great to see you, darling. Take care.